43.
Comes after 42.
It does come after 42. 43. So there you go. We have now
we have done this.
We have done this successfully 2. So
it's giving us a lot of credit there.
Well, that's I rounded up.
Still counts. But we're back.
Yeah.
Again.
Welcome to the We Walk podcast, featuring yours truly, Tony Watson of Watson Monument down here in College Station, Texas. And then we've got Austin Cassey of Austin Stone Monument up there in Wichita Falls, nearly Oklahoma.
I was waiting for that one. I knew you were going
to. I was nice. I mean, the weather is
in a very nice and respectful way.
Yeah, so The weather is better. I'm turning over a new leaf. My liquids are getting darker. Football's in season.
The liquids you consume.
The liquids I consume. Yes. We are running into issues with. I think we've decided we're no longer talking baseball. So if you think you're going to tune in and hear at the end of us talking, we're talking baseball, it's not going to happen.
Now, I will say that your Astros still do have a possibility.
The Chronicle actually produced a photo that showed the potential paths for them to get there. You know what? I mean, sure. Is there a potential path for me to win the lottery? Yeah.
It could happen.
It could happen. Is it going to? No.
But it could.
I don't freaking of all things, Framber Valdez yesterday decides to throw a good game and win. If you'd have done that instead of hitting your catcher, maybe we would have been in a different position. Moron. He's free agent.
What a wild end to the baseball season, though.
He's free agent after this, by the way. So if you want him, he's yours.
Yeah. They don't take, most organizations don't take too kindly to problems in the clubhouse, regardless of their performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Case in point, Trevor Bauer. Excellent pitcher, is a clubhouse issue. And a lot of people don't want that bad juju in the clubhouse.
Nope. So I don't want it in my office,
Right.
So, well, here we are. So we've got a lot of, I don't know what all's going up your way. We're kind of sitting around doing some re-crunching on stuff for me. And you and I talked about this to some extent. It's the time to look at numbers and figure out how I'm making money.
Well, we're in a whole different ballgame these days. I don't know about you, but one thing that I have been seeing is quite the increase in the amount of people that are price shopping. And and I don't. And you and I've talked about this for a long time. I don't typically see price shoppers. Traditionally, I have not either.
We do now.
Yeah.
So. But so it sparked this conversation that you and I had about, what numbers look like and what they should be, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And so kind of got into some of that already. And now for those of y'all listening, don't come at me with some kind of Sherman Act price fixing thing, because that's not anything that's happened by any stretch of the imagination. But I started looking at my numbers. I know you started looking at your numbers and things like that. But really what this comes down to is trying to understand how numbers are formulated, right? Because it's not just like we could sit here all day long and talk, oh, well, what do you sell a 2x6x2 for, or any of that kind of thing? And I think that's wrong. That's where things kind of get problematic. And I don't like those conversations anyways. And I want to break down some of why I don't like that in the first place. But what I want to do, if I can find my little clicker here, is, talk about some of the things that really kind of create a pricing structure, right? And a while back, I got to remember. That's how you spell it. Sorry, I'm typing things so I can find things. A while back, there was a educational class that SMBA did in. We were in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, this was before my time, but I have heard about. Are you talking about the one that Allison did?
Yes, we're talking about the one that Allison did.
Uh-huh.
And
apparently
she did.
That one was that one is pretty well known. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that was there for that, and they came away one either just gobsmacked, thinking that they're running themselves into the ground after listening to how you really should be pricing, and then others that they still didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think the problem comes in that people. I mean, she did a master class on how to price or on what price structuring should be. I mean, basically, think of it as like the equivalent of having a Nobel laureate give you an education on how to price stuff out, and it was super good. So she went into details about like what makes up your. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to find all of these here. What makes up your cost of goods sold? Mm-hmm. How do you calculate your overhead? How do you calculate your time? Those kind of things. And it was a really good detail. Here's what things that fall into cost of goods sold is merchandise, freight, foundations, labor. Those kind of details that really kind of point out to you where your numbers are coming from, right? Well, this is what the cost of doing business is. There's other expenses, but that are not a part of your cost of goods sold, and and all this stuff is all lined out in your QuickBooks. If your QuickBooks is set up correctly, all of that stuff falls under its certain categories, and you can find this stuff fairly easily in there by pulling.
If you're still keeping a handwritten ledger?
What year is it?
I'm just saying that we've heard of a few.
I mean, the only handwritten ledger I keep is this one, and that's my checkbook. I don't know if you saw what it's written on. For those of y'all not watching, I keep my checkbook. I keep it digitally too, but just my hand notes so that I can double check it is all kept on a mile supply. What do they call them? Notepads that they give out. I have a stack of those notepads, and that's what they're for.
I will say this, and even though we do use QuickBooks just the same as you do, I still cannot get away from Excel spreadsheets. I still keep a spreadsheet, and it's just I look at it as just something redundant, just in case I lose something, then I still have something to fall back on.
Yep. So, I mean, I think I like it. I have kind of done that. I think Janine has got away from some of it, but she keeps not double entries. It sounds like we're entering something twice into the same thing, but she
are so good.
That's how you end up running from the law.
I mean, it's frowned upon.
Yes, to some extent, it's frowned upon heavily.
Thanks,
But I think she did a really good class. I hope she does it again at some point in time. But she really went in depth into what it takes to be able to calculate your pricing, right? So things of like, she's got I'm looking at the notes, and it says list below or common costs that are cost of goods sold, right? Abrasive, postage, stencil expenses, labor shop, that's stuff like glue, granite, obviously, tools, rent, utilities, just a lot of different things that you don't really think about. So I have a big problem where I tend to, if you hadn't figured this out by listening at any given point in time, chase squirrels, right? So in her class, when she's going down these expenses, I kind of go down a different side trail of, I remember sitting there watching, and she goes, things like your rent and your, your advertising, all of these things that go into just the regular costs. And how do you figure that into your sales? Well, my issue goes, if you take all those numbers and you divide them out by what you assume your average sales are going to be, so that you can figure out what a percentage cost needs to be and all that, what happens when you're down 1 month? Or if your sales change, it becomes like this ever chasing ebb and flow that I'm not a fan of. And then on top of that, it creates things that are far more complicated to do in math.
Yes.
So I like where it goes because it teaches me how to break down numbers and how to look at numbers. And so she would get into things like understanding the percentages, like something like in her notes, she has like some math and whatnot. And we'll go, without you being able to see the notes, it does you really no good. So, but as an example, it does the math and it says that means based on the math that was done ahead of this means 46% of every sale is gross profit. Okay, well, that's all well and good, but that doesn't help me figure out my numbers.
Right. She
goes into that much further. Okay, I mean, this is what I'm looking at right now is a 15-page document of notes that she went into, and it's phenomenal. So what I'm getting at with all this is the Cliff's notes that I took this information, and of course, immediately following that, everybody had a conversation that from that convention, and I'd found out, and I'm not going to share who gave this to me or whatever, and I'm not going to share the file, but somebody created a Excel spreadsheet that kind of did all this math for them. And I go, well, that's cool. And so I kind of played with this Excel spreadsheet for a bit and kind of thought, man, well, that's great. And realized that while this is all well and good, the biggest issue I run into with this is that I can't do those numbers on the fly when I have a customer standing there, because I've got to open up an Excel spreadsheet and try to punch all this stuff in and all these details. And man, it just is not something that I can do. So what I did was I punched in a few of these things, had it all written out, and then simply did a divider math of what that sale number needed to be, and by what the cost of my stone was, my stone cost. Right. But to give you an example of what is involved in this equation, freight costs. So it would figure in your freight cost based on weight. It figures in overhead percentage and things like that, cost of doing your sandblast, all that kind of stuff. And so all of those standard things, and then you kind of come up with a number to be able to do it. So I know this has been a long-winded 8 minutes of me going into all these details to get to a point. And the point is that we realized, and as you should, as a good business, that you have to be able to come back and review your pricing structure every few years. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have seen our suppliers do that in infinitum over the last 5 years.
Yes.
Right.
And everything's still in flux too.
Oh yeah. And of course, while right now the big one's been imports, don't, exclude your domestic stuff, because domestic since 19 has more than doubled.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've had the same type of customer that thankfully you have repeat customers. Mm-hmm. That they've come in to purchase a new memorial from you within the past year or so and say that they came in 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And they, what you did for mama, we just want to replicate. Yep. You give them the price and they said, well, that's double. Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate. I mean, that's just the way things have gone.
Are you saying that you don't approach the customer and say, well, yeah, this is the second time you purchased?
Mm-hmm. It's double. It's a special.
Yeah. And when you come in next time, it's triple. Because it's the third time you visited.
That's how you keep them coming back. They see the value.
I'm going to give you a punch card too, and then after you filled out the punch card, which is 10 purchases, you get free vases.
But it's going to be from our vase pile that it's going to be from the turn vases.
Yeah.
That not all of them are turned exactly the same. So and it's going to be a little different than the other.
Secret little key is if you buy in December, you get 2 punches for 1 purchase.
Yeah. Spend your hard-earned Christmas dollars. The gift that will last forever.
But
they say diamonds are forever.
Nah. No, not the way I run them through a grinder. No, so yeah, it was time to revisit our pricing and look at all that stuff. And I think the key to this is that it's important for you to kind of go and say, revisit your stuff every once in a while. Are you low or are you high? You may even find that within some of your stuff that you're low and other things you're high because the market has changed, right? But one key detail that becomes this overarching discussion that gets lost in the weeds every time I have this conversation with an individual is this. That key detail is that most people are not taking into account the average household income in their area.
Mm-hmm.
And why that's important is because we can have this conversation and I can talk about how much a 2x1 marker costs here versus what it costs in Seattle, Washington, or Santa Barbara, California, Chicago, Illinois, those kind of, even up in Ohio, right? The deal is what does it cost? When I say cost of average household income, what I'm really kind of looking at is I'm looking at a bigger number than that. I'm looking at what does it cost to do business, right? Because what it costs to do, if I look at the household income, I have a better idea what the overhead is in that area to do business as well. So that means
I had I guess at one point in time I was naive to that train.
Yep.
The first time I ever heard somebody charging over $1,000 for a 2x1 gray flat marker, I thought to myself that they were just flat out taking advantage of people. But the area that I'm in, what it costs to operate here is a lot less than where they were. And of course, they have to build that into their pricing structure. And it's not them taking advantage of anybody. It's just that that's the number that they have to get to remain in business.
Oh, yeah. I've had the conversation with a few people while we're in this process of buying property and building a building and all that other stuff. And even you, it's been discussion of, whenever we talked about how much you spent on your building and getting in the property and all that. Mm-hmm. When I told you what property was going for around here, your mouth hit the floor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just because the cost of buying land here is atrocious. Now,
I think my land, of course, I sit on 2.5 acres here. And I think comparable to what you're looking at, I think the cost of my land was about 1/10 of especially some of the places that you were looking at.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, right now we're very fortunate. It sounds like, and I'm crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, and still just praying this all goes through because we don't have everything finalized. It sounds like we're in a good place. I mean, we're still in negotiations and stuff, or whatever. So trying not to put the cart before the horse. But right now we're looking around the 2 acres. There's 2 buildings currently on the property of 2 acres and 3 tenants. And we're looking at the offer I made last was $450,000 for the 2 acres. So $225 an acre. Mm-hmm. Now,
which will work out the best for you because one, that's probably some of the more economical land that you've found, and on top of that, it makes it to where you do not have to move your location.
That's correct. Now, that number, while it may sound on board to a lot, on par for a lot of people, and may sound high for a lot of people, but it may sound really low to a lot, is a little disingenuous because the property we have is still currently classified as rural and not commercial one. So that has to get changed. Well, that's an expense. And that changes the value of the property once it's there. It still has a septic field on it and not connected to city sewage, which that has to get changed because for the things we want to do. That's an expense. The buildings are not to ADA code as of right now, and we kind of always joke that we worry about when we plug in a grinder, are we going to set the building on fire? So there's a lot of different little things that need to get fixed. Once we have, let's say we have our new building done, which we're looking at all investments, something like 1.2 million is including the property is kind of what we're thinking we're going to be at. The property value should probably be about there. Honestly, I'd rather it stay there because of taxes. But once the highway extends through, it's already here. They're just going to widen it. Once the highway extends, the property value will go up, and we're going to be probably looking at $2 million because they want to tax it.
Oh, of course they do. That's one of the drawbacks to living in the great state of Texas.
Yep.
One is that we do not have a state income tax, but we do have high property taxes. And that is one thing that I have to face every single year, with the exception of the next 2 years, I believe, because I contested mine and represented myself throughout it, and honestly had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know. I enjoyed it. If you ever need to contest your property values in the state of Texas, let me know. I will be more than willing to help you. I have fun with it, and of course I went before the appraisal board and got it down to a number that I found a lot more manageable.
Yeah,
and I think my memory serves me correct. If you do get it lowered and you do agree with the board, I think it locks it for 2 years. And then, of course, I know after 2 years they're going to jack it up, and I'll be right back in.
It'll be another fight, yeah. And those are all the things that go into these pricing, right? Is what are you spending on what's costing you to just keep? I'm not even talking about the power and the water, just your rent or mortgage for your property, and those kind of things. So,
just to give you an idea on the property taxes here from my spot on an annual basis, of course, it depends upon the year. I'm somewhere between $14,000 to $19,000.
And so that's that. I mean, you're going to be, just go ahead and call it, $1,500 a month out of your expenses goes towards property taxes.
I think a lot of people miss the boat whenever they start to set up their pricing structure, because there are a lot of individuals out there that have a desire to be the lowest priced individual in their area. And some of it do it for two reasons. One, that they're trying to get as much business as they possibly can. And if you can run it on volume, then you can run it on volume. But the other is that they think that they have a duty to provide the same service that can be provided elsewhere at a much cheaper cost. But whenever you start talking about these numbers that are not reoccurring numbers on a monthly basis, that is something that you may face, biannually or annually or whatever, all of a sudden you get to that part of the year and you have a lot of money leave your bank account all of a sudden.
And this was one of those things I had a real hard time with, because as a startup, that's a different look that you take on whenever you're trying to chase this, right? You have to understand, as you're, when you're new to business, that first couple of years, you don't know what your cost of goods sold actually is, because it's not consistent enough to know what all that is.
Every time you open an envelope in the mail, it's a surprise.
Yeah. You remember being a kid and you enjoyed getting mail?
Oh, I love it whenever I see the mail truck just pass my business by now. I'm like, thank goodness.
Oh, gosh. And you're like, and now you're like, they come in and you're like, go away. Just look.
Well, it's funny, between the different suppliers that I use, there's a few of them that they use certain envelopes, and you can see it in the mail carrier's hand as they walk in, and you're like, that's a big bill.
Yep. Yep. It's to sit there and be like, oh no, the mail, I love the mail. No, I don't like it. And if I have a slip I've got to sign for, heck no.
Yeah. Heck and then about every other week you get a Uline catalog.
You don't use those to prop up your chairs?
Man, I have a stack of them in my break room, and why we have a stack of them makes no sense, but we just started piling them up on top of the refrigerator, and then it became, can we touch the ceiling with them? So that's what we did.
I saw a lady driving a car the other day on the way back from dropping James off of football practice, and I swore she couldn't see over the steering wheel. And my first thought was like, ma'am, do you need a Uline catalog? Because that is the new phone book.
It is.
For some of y'all who are young, there used to be a thing called a phone book. It's what the contacts thing is named after in your phone.
Well, I've thought before, if I was in the position in marketing or sales or whatever at Uline, of course, right now they spend, there's no telling what they spend having those catalogs printed every month. And
they buy them from Uline.
Yeah. They have to be printing them themselves. That's the only way that makes sense. And still, that's quite the expense. But I've thought, anytime that I've ever ordered anything from Uline, I have not referenced one of their catalogs. I get on their website and I look for what I'm looking for. And why they haven't discontinued their catalog is beyond me.
I bet they could discontinue their catalog. Their stock numbers would go up, and they would spend half the money on SEO and do a lot better.
Agreed. Oh, it'd have a lot better guaranteed reach.
Oh yeah.
Because think about it, anytime that you get one of those catalogs in now, you just either throw it away or put it on top of the refrigerator
and see if you can touch the ceiling.
That's the goal.
So yeah, no, I think understanding those values and stuff like that. So I had to, because I'm too stupid to figure out how to price a monument, like how people used to do it, I guess. The way I do it is I will I basically find where I need to be and then create a multiplier so that I can come down to that number and get to where I can do that math in my head. So, which is funny because then I remember whenever years ago when I was on the wholesale side, hearing wholesalers go, those retailers are making money hand over fist because their margins are, times 3 times whatever. And you go, yeah. They're making way too much money. And then you get to the retailers. Those wholesalers are making way too much money because, the true thing is none of us are making money. We're all complaining about it and throwing fits about the other guy. The wholesalers have smaller margins, but much more volume than the retailers. And the retailers have to deal with employees and customers.
Definitely so. And there's a lot to be said with that, because especially this month for me, this has been quite the fun month. I've had some interesting ones.
Well, I think I talked to you yesterday about my replacement deal that we're having to do right now, where we sandblasted one. Turns out it had some kind of a stain on it. Couldn't get the stain out. Replaced the stone. Magically, nobody in the shop decided to check it to see if there was the replacement was clean. You know what? The replacement was not clean. There was a stain on that one too. And so I have to decide how to handle this. And I decide I'm going for a drive for an hour. Because I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. And so you sit there and you go, well, that was $1,000 we just threw away in the trash. Cool.
Yep. No,
when we're sitting here talking about, what our margins need to be, I've got to calculate for that crap too. Yeah. And fortunately, that stuff doesn't happen that often. But when it does, it's not like it's cheap.
No. No, and a lot of times, and it can be whether you talk about a mishap in your shop or even a negative interaction with a customer, it seems big at that time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not. And like, you know what you did? Hop in your truck, go clear your head instead of just nuking the entire place.
But I'm wondering if my insurance is good enough just to nuke the whole place.
I mean, you can get away with it once. Maybe.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, so that's been one of those real interesting deals is just the pricing structure of going through that. And I go through it probably once every 4 or 5 years to see kind of where I feel like we need to be and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
and to not put it in the exact words of a well-known politician, but in the same style as a well-known politician, you could say numbers are important because when you count a number, you're counting something. And when you count something, you know how many of that something you have. And that's why we count. Because without counting, we wouldn't know how many there are.
My head hurts.
Okay.
I'm gonna draw a diagram of that.
I love Venn diagrams.
Oh man. Other than that, you know what I've noticed in other topics, I've noticed a number of trending things lately that have been going around. We think we briefly talked about one before, which are the QR codes that have been sold on every corner and every block and all that kind of stuff. And I decided to try one out so that you don't have to.
The bravery of this man.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's going to pan out because it didn't cost me that much to just get this thing started, which is why I didn't have a hard time with it.
My only hang up with the QR codes, which I get it extends the medium of which we put in the cemetery into the digital realm and gives families a lot more versatility with it. I just hate the look of a QR code stuck on a headstone.
I do too. I really don't like it. But this particular one, they say will point back at my webpage and drive traffic, and I don't believe that. And I asked them for numbers, and they said, "Well, look, this company sold X number of them." I said, "Well, how much did that increase their traffic?" "Well, we don't know." Well, that seems to me like a metric you should have. And they said, "Well, you're going to tell me that people aren't going to scan it in the cemetery?" I go, "How often do you think people are in the cemetery?"
Exactly.
And they're like, "Well, people are going to go, they're going to see it and they're going to scan it." And I go, "I think you're thinking people are going to be in the cemetery a heck of a lot more than they really are." I said, if that's the case, you should be able to pull up any one of your tags and tell me the number of scans that have come across said tag. And they said they couldn't check that metric. And I go, well, that's hogwash. So, but we're going to try it out and see. I don't think it's going to do anything. I think we're going to be a one-time investment of a couple $100 and be done.
But you have it as an option if somebody does inquire.
I think it makes people happy. I think it makes them happy that there's an option there. I think my biggest holdup is this. Should that business fold, right? And I'll say this across the board with any of them. Should that QR company fold, what is to happen with what the customer has put the money into?
Because it points towards a website, and that website needs to be maintained.
Correct. So what happens is the most likely is that you've sold, let's say they've sold 10,000 of these things, right? And they did really well in year 1 and year 2, and come year 5 or 10, the technology is not really viable anymore, or the sales have drooped and they're not there anymore. So these tags are now on all these monuments, but people still scan them.
Yep.
But nobody's
and then all of a sudden Grandma Faye becomes 404 not found.
Yes, because somebody has not funded that server to be maintained. Mm-hmm. So this is a big issue for me because I'm the one that has to deal with the family when they call and go, why is my QR code not working?
Right. And I think that that's a real possibility. And I'm not wishing for any of these companies to fold up.
No, by any stretch of the imagination.
But at the rate technology is advancing right now, QR codes have become obsolete a lot sooner than we think.
Yes. Which is why I've always been kind of pro the NFC tag, because it just disappears, right? You know it's there or you don't. Mm-hmm. And the QR codes, you see them and all that kind of stuff. But when somebody's not financially backing it anymore, it's just a matter of that family coming in and chewing you out. So obviously the ones that bought 10 years ago, the likelihood of them scanning it and finding it is probably nil. The ones that I have that I think are going to be the bigger problem are the families that buy it and then they shut their doors in like 6 months.
Yep.
And then now you're left holding the bag going, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Because now you're stuck because they sold you a bill of goods that they couldn't back up because they knew they were going under. So I think those are really where I see issues with this stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of them. We're going to try and offer them. We think that if I can get them to get their stuff to track, then I think there's value. Meaning if I can track the metrics of the number of scans off of these tags, then it's super valuable, especially if I can get the scans, the scans of those tags to implement some form of cookie for my website onto their phone or device so that they are getting my ads or seeing my stuff more often. That to me has value. However, I just don't see it lasting. I may be wrong, but there needs to be a way to financially back these things. And when I say that, the end outcome, what I'm chasing is, we'll go back down this route in the state of Texas. And I had looked this up, by the way, and I think you and I talked about it. But the code that exists for in the state of Texas for if you're hold on, I'm thinking if you take money as a entity, what in the death care industry on a service that has not been serviced, that you have to put that money into a trust.
Yes.
So I know that was I'm trying to think and find something at the same time. So this is why the thought process.
What I think what you're trying to explain is you're talking about in the same instance of a perpetual care cemetery. Yes. There is a fund set up that will ensure that even if that entity goes defunct, that there still is something that will fund it, that will still continue to upkeep it and take care of it.
Correct.
Which, in my opinion, needs to happen for something like that.
Yes. And so it is in the Texas code really for funeral homes, but it's so broad that it really kind of extends into the death care industry in the state of Texas. And if I can find where I searched for it, I will have that code for you, but it says that all money that is received has to go into a trust. So here's where the premise goes, right? If that's the rule in the state of Texas, if you're going to take pre-planning information or a pre-planning for a funeral and casket and all that stuff in the state of Texas, or a final date in the state of Texas for that, and you got to put that money into a trust, right? It stands to reason that the same issue falls on these QR codes or NFC tags, that they have to be financially backed to make sure that they stay good. So there should be a trust that financially backs the servers that the information on these is stored on.
Correct. And in this day and age, that's not going to be too hard to do because basically whenever it breaks down to who is actually hosting a lot of this, as far as the servers are, you're talking just about a very small handful of companies, and Amazon is one of the largest.
Yep.
That are running these massive server farms.
Yep.
So one would stand to reason that Amazon's probably going to be around for quite a while.
Yeah. AWS is their business services that does a lot of just servers. Here, I found it. It's chapter 154 of the Texas Financial Code it mandates that any person or entity selling prepaid funeral benefits, which would fall under a final date, or would even fall under, to me, if I'm from the outside looking in, these QR codes, must deposit funds received in connection with those contracts into a trust account unless the funding is provided through a qualifying insurance policy.
Because I'm sure in your business, you've never heard before that, yeah, we're coming in, we're letting you know that grandma, she passed away, need you to go put that date on there. Okay, well, let's fill out a little bit of paperwork. No. She paid for that already.
Oh, yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about the lady who threatened to sue me over it?
Over a final date?
Yeah.
Trying to say that she had already paid you for it?
She said that Mama told her that it was already taken care of. And I said, no, ma'am, in the entire time I've been in business, that has never been a thing. We've never done that. No, she said before on her deathbed, that's not how she said it, but it was covered. I didn't have to worry about anything. Okay, well, that's fine. That's what you may have understood, or you didn't say that to us. I was in the room. Well, wait a minute. Now I'm hearing two different stories. And then her statement to me was, well, I'm going to sue you. And I literally looked at this. She's in my office, and I literally looked at this lady in the face, and I said, ma'am, no, you're not. I said, you are not going to go pay a $5,000 retainer to an attorney to sue me over $350. Good luck.
Yep.
I said, but here's the form if you'd like to fill it out. So, yeah, the statutory code is it's Texas Financial Code, chapter 154.253 and 154.256. So if you want to look that up. But yes, so all that to say that I worry about these things when it comes to these tags and all that stuff and how it's funded for future use. I think that there are avenues in which there may be other ways to invest that money that may be more beneficial for us as in the death care industry and taking that money. But I think that's yet to come. And I've heard some talkings of it. I'm not quite ready to express that out loud yet because I don't know if somebody's trying to do something proprietary or not. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what these QR codes are going to work, but the QR codes are something we kind of talked about before. That is the driving conversation to get to what you were messing with that we have been seeing come up on the Facebook feeds, because that one is more entertaining to me.
It is. It definitely is. And of course, since we're in the business that we're in, there's a lot of targeted ads that hit us that are related to cemeteries, headstones, things like that. And I came across one called Tending, and it shows it as a service that they go out and they clean headstones. And I got to thinking, well, if I'm seeing this and I know this company's not a local company to me, where are they at? Well, of course, it doesn't show where they're at. So I messaged them and just kind of got a little bit of information from them. And what they're attempting to do is that they are going to set up you buy a monthly plan or something like that once a quarter they go out and they clean the headstone, and it will cost you $25 a month. Well, and of course, you and I, we've talked about it. And well, first off, would you go out and clean a headstone for $25?
No. I think I don't. Of course, you and I had separate answers about this. I don't know that I would start my truck up for $25. You said answer the phone. I would absolutely answer the phone for $25.
Right. Well, after we dug into that one a little while, I recanted.
You did.
Yeah. Well, of course, like I said, I would gladly sit here at my shop and answer the phone for $25 a phone call, for just based upon the number of spam calls that we get. I'm to the point now that I hope it is a real individual on the other side of the phone, so at least I can get some gratification if I'm not busy at the moment.
Yeah.
If they're if they're calling to scam people, I'm going to waste as much of their time as I possibly can, because maybe I've prevented them from getting to one more person.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's a great way to troll people. I mean, it's just if you really want to strengthen your skills of trolling people, just answer the phone. Mm-hmm. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and of course it's just whenever it's a real person on the other side of the phone. Of course, that person has real emotions too, and you can make those real emotions come out. and that is the payoff.
So I don't know, you know this because you've been down here. You know, Friday nights in College Station is the night that 3 families get together, and we have just a good time, opening up a bottle, having drinks, and wind down from the week. Right? Kids all get together, they go hang out and play and whatnot. So you met my buddy Aaron, and one night we're over at his house. And he gets this call and he goes, I'm sick and tired of answering this call. And he's about ready to throw his phone. I go, give it to me. He hands it to me, and it's solar panels is what they're trying to sell them. Right. And this guy is just, you could tell, thick accent. He's not from here.
But his name's Mike.
Sure.
Or David.
So I answer it and I said, hey, and so I start getting information from him. I said, well, he says, oh yeah, they will, you will make your money back on these solar panels in 5 years after your investment, right? Once you put the solar panels on, they will pay for themselves in 5 years.
Where do I sign?
I said, I have questions. Can you answer my questions for me? I'm just really curious. Sure. I said, how often do the batteries got to be replaced? Oh, well, technology changes. I said, so what happens if the panel gets damaged? Does the new panel plug right in? Oh, well, I said, are they? And here's where I always get them, because you deal with this up there. I'm sure that this happens around the country, but we get it quite a bit down here. Are they hell resistant? And the guy said, because he didn't understand what I said, and he's never experienced hell. And maybe, I don't know. Right. So he says, oh, you can go to hell. I said, no, not like that. The ice falling from the sky.
Well, listen here, David, I ain't buying now after you snapping back at me. I'll tell you something.
So he got into it.
And I go, you speak to me in a respectful tone.
I finally got him going. I said, and I think I said, because it was definitely a Middle Eastern style voice, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, so I know 2 things to be true. One, Pakistani people hate India.
Oh yeah.
And 2, Indian people hate Pakistan.
Oh yeah.
And I said, hey, man, I don't know where you're at or whatever, but I'm sure y'all get hell in India, right? Took a guess, right? Oh, I'm not from India. You Oh, you're Paki.
Yep.
And I set him off because that was my guess was actually that he was from Pakistan, and I knew I'd set him up. So I finally got him talking, and it was all just. I was like, man, that's got to be the worst job ever.
I need to start videoing Ronnie here. Because he puts it on speakerphone so I can hear it too. And oh man, that guy he could put on a master class of how to talk to these people.
Yeah,
and he had one of them. I mean, if that guy could have crawled through the phone, he would have, because Ronnie finally got it out of him that he was in India somewhere, and Ronnie would not shut up with Pakistan number one.
Yeah, if you ever want to mess with those people, that's where you go. Immediately, it takes them off. So now that we've digressed hardcore, back to the tending app issue. Yeah, this is why the tens of fans listen.
Yeah, may God have mercy on everyone.
It could be worse. We could be very monotone, and we could talk like this through the whole thing.
We could.
And you might listen. You probably won't.
Yeah, the whole time we just talking about this tinning app that I found. It's
oh gosh, I can't even listen to you. Stop it! Stop it! And get into it. I'm gonna slap you.
Put the gun down, Tony. But to get back to it, it's a subscription service that you subscribe to, and they will go out and clean, restore, whatever. And for $25 a month, and like you said, and of course I told you too, there's no way I'm going to do that. And so I asked them, I said, are you a nationwide company? And they said, yep, we offer our service coast to coast. And I said, well, obviously it's not going to be y'all tending to this. So how do you intend to do this? And they said, well, we would reach out to people like you. We would reach out to other monument companies and we would talk with them to get them involved in the service. And then we would subcontract it out through y'all. And I haven't messaged them back yet, but whenever I do, my reply to them is going to say, well, you need to rethink your pricing structure if you ever want to do work with any of us, because $25 a month is what they're getting. So what do they intend to give you to go out there? And I've watched some of their videos and they have some very questionable cleaning methods. Yeah. I saw one, and of course it was a stone that had a little bit of biological growth on. And so, normally we would do detour or whatever the chemical that Miles Supply sells now. And then they were going to relitho it also. First off, they I've seen two videos. One of them, they sandblast the surface of the stone. And then the other one, they take a grinding wheel to it. And then they paint the lettering and then run the grinding wheel back over. And again, some questionable methods.
Absolutely. And that's the problem is it seems like somebody just, because there was a trend for the last couple of years of people going into cemeteries and doing cemetery cleaning and stuff like that. And it's been this ongoing deal. And now there's pages on how to actually clean it on people who've never actually worked in the granite industry and don't know the first thing about cleaning a monument or whatnot. So, I've seen people cleaning stuff with stuff that, muriatic acid or sandblasting with, whatever they choose to sandblast with. And you're like, I think I saw one where somebody was sandblasting with dry ice, but it was on, and they swore up and down it was safe. And people listening now are going to go, yeah, that's not that bad on it. It's not going to, until I tell you that it was the image I saw it on was sugared marble. And you're like, I don't care what you throw at it. It's going to start to damage it. And
I'm afraid to look at a piece of marble too hard.
I don't walk by them.
Which is hilarious. We have a couple pieces of marble here at our shop, and those things were ones that we pulled out of a cemetery, and they were blank. Yeah, we pulled them out because the family decided they wanted to do something else rather than would have been sitting there for years. And we got them cleaned up, and you can still see some faint staining in them, but nothing terrible. But those things have been moved around the shop continuously, not a problem, and never have had a chip on one, a stain on one, anything like that. And then whenever we do order some marble for a customer and we get it in, we're in the process of uncrating it. I almost feel like I want to wear white gloves because I put my hand on one day.
Yeah.
And left a black handprint on it.
Mm-hmm. So I decided I wanted to look this up because, what they're offering is so phenomenal. So that you're aware, if you are going to hire them, and this is probably where this is beneficial if you choose to take the gamble to hire them to clean a flat marker once monthly. If you're doing it just pay once, monthly deal instead of an annual fee, it's $19 for a flat marker. That's whether it's granite or bronze. Or you can do it $200 for the month and save $29. Right? Bevel marker, because bevel marker is so much harder to clean than a flat marker, correct?
You're telling me
it's $25 a month or $255 for the year. You can do a slant marker at $29 a month or $299 for the year. An upright monument at $355 or $35 for the year, and so forth. So I mean, they go on and on and on about this. And I'm not knocking these guys. I just don't think they know really the industry well. No. But I wanted to, because their page is tending.app, app. And so I was curious, why is it not tending.com? And that's because that domain is already owned by somebody. And if you would like it, you can offer $10,000 to buy that page. And here's why I went down this path, because this was rather entertaining. And you can use this for other things if you so choose to buy another web domain. Of the other options that are here, there's, tending.it.com, tendingtobusiness.com, tending.online, tending.world, tending.sucks.
I think they missed an opportunity.
I'm just sitting there thinking that there might be other companies I might want to buy .sucks for.
Oh man.
Hold on.
I don't know. I don't know. You should have told me that.
Seeing if it's available.
I know what you just typed in.
And I know you know what I just typed in.
I know. Is it? Oh, now the real question is,
it's available.
It's available.
$100.
I'll split it. Oh, we could crowdfund that one real easy.
Man, there you go. Dangerous. Yeah. So it's there's a lot of things going on out there.
But one thing that you and I did talk about whenever we was talking about this one particular site is that if we're seeing them, our customers are going to see them as well, because at some point in time they've done a Google search for headstone companies or something like that.
Yep.
And so it is going to come up to them. And you can make the decision whether or not you want to do this, but you may want to bring some of this up to families as a way to not to get them to subscribe to anything monthly to you, unless that's something you want to set up personally, but to warn them, that you are probably going to start seeing a lot of targeted ads sent your way now. And if you do think you may want to get into any of those, call us and ask us what we think about him. Because the last thing I want is for one of my families to spend money on a service that will do nothing for them. And potentially ruin an existing stone that they already have.
Or if you're of the mindset that you don't care, then what you could do is just, when a customer comes in and wants a cleaning, go ahead and hire them to do the cleaning and mark it up 500%.
It is an option.
I'm just saying. And you can cancel at any time. If you really wanted to be a jerk, you could go put insurance on it before they go mess it up.
I almost want to try it. Just pick a headstone that I know I've done. And of course I'd call the family and get their approval on it first, but just tell them that we're going to offer them a free cleaning, just to see if anything even happens. And see if we get a phone call.
And that would be interesting, is who are they hiring for these things? And how are they finding these people? So I know that there is something similar going around with death dates, but I know who's doing that. And I know that it's being, that's going to work. That one will work because of who's running it and what they're doing to set up to make sure that the individuals know what they're doing.
I did see another one that popped up in my feed earlier.
Which is?
And it is 1111rememberme.com. And it is a website that sells a cleaning solution for headstones. Comes in a bucket.
Oh, that is is it Atlas Preserve?
No, it's TKO.
Okay. So,
but I did watch some of this guy's ads, and I think I'm going to order some just to see what it's like. But he talks about that it's a non-acidic solution, and actually, this one does seem like he knows what he's talking about.
So I think if I remember correctly, and this is when you get into like these really stupid details in the industry that nobody actually cares about, but for some reason I find out about them. The guys with D2 that developed D2, and I'm going to butcher this, so I'm not going to try to slander. I'm not trying to slander anybody. I'm just trying to explain how I know things or what I know. Somehow,
important.
No, I see too much stupid stuff. Apparently, somehow the guys with Atlas Preservation who really helped kick off D2 and the people who own D2 have now separated and it's not amicable at all. They don't like each other. There is, for some reason, of all things, on my Instagram reels, came across a video of one of them complaining about the other. So I'm like, okay. And but now I think he's helping these guys, these 1111 cleaner guys. So it's a similar product to D2.
Oh.
So it should be the same thing, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know that I'm interested in trying it yet, but
no. I know Mile Supply, they have a whole line of cleaning solutions that they're offering now, and
everybody has their own now, and so there's all these different products out for all of it, but it's each their own, I guess. Venture at your own risk, or reach out to us because we're dumb enough to try half this stuff.
We are.
Yeah. Well, case in point, the QR codes.
Another case in point, that new Monumask, whatever it was.
That was good though. That worked out pretty well.
That worked out really well.
So did the one trip dolly. That's worked out pretty well.
I don't have one.
You don't have one? That's your problem. Jeremiah bought one.
He bought like 3.
Well, look, he's got more money than you and I do.
He does.
That's why he's Mr. All Hands.
He is removed cover whenever you say his name. Gosh. Say that name with some respect. We love you, Jeremiah. We really do.
So, no, I think there's a lot going on, a lot shifting around in the industry, but I think, of course, for, as far as education stuff goes right now, AICA starts next week, I believe. Unfortunately, this will be the first one in some time that I have not made.
This will be the first one that I hadn't made.
Well, you've only made one, so
the first one I didn't make.
Yeah. No, this is for what it's worth. I think I missed my second one. Actually, I made the first one, missed the second one. So there you go.
So I am on the path of enlightenment right now. I am following in the footsteps.
This one we've got a lot of stuff going on around the house right now. James has got to be at football practice at 6:30 in the morning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Emily has to go to Veracruz, Mexico, to go check on their plant. So it's just a lot of junk going on. So unfortunately, I won't make that. I won't be in. They're in Flagstaff, Arizona, which I hope y'all have. If y'all listen, which I know some of y'all do, and y'all have nothing else to do anyway while y'all on the plane, I hope you have a good time. If you're listening afterwards, I hope you had a great time, and I hope I went home with all the awards and you didn't go home with any.
Did you get the email from Jed today?
I did. I've got to go back and send him that stuff as well.
I got to send him mine.
But so have a good time out that way. Yeah, the education sounds pretty good. So I hope they have a great time.
And then after that's MBNA. And
I think we've got there might be something in between. I feel like there. Let me go to that monument. Monument. You think I know how to spell this by now, right?
I figured you'd already had it pulled up on your browser.
No, I'm not that smart.
No, I'm not saying for the recording. I'm saying just in general.
I'm not. No. Upcoming events.
I did see that they sent out an email asking if anybody wants to be a representative or trustee.
Yes, they did.
I mean,
feel free to join and do that. Okay, so they have a webinar coming up. You got to be a member. And then they've got in February 26th through the 28th, come to Texas, come to Fort Worth. Get to see, I'll be there. I think Austin will be there. Trying to convince Joe to go. That is our joint convention with MBNA. So the Southern Monument Builders Convention will be joint with MBNA in downtown Fort Worth at the Sheridan, not far from the Stockyards. So come out and we'll go, maybe we'll go hang out at Billy Bob's. I don't know if there's anything's happening at Billy Bob's yet. We're too far out to know that.
Too far out for that.
Yeah, registration opens October 1st.
Joe comes because then that could be like the official launch of our law firm.
Ooh, yeah. So that's coming up. I think that there's a Kentucky, Tennessee, there's some kind of conference going on in Lexington next week, I think.
But I do have one question, and it's the joke about the law firm. Of course, the pictures you were sending to Joe and I, we were feeding through ChatGPT. And I know the prompt that you probably used for the first one that just had you and me. And then whenever Joe was in it, how did you word that one?
I said, I literally told it, hold on, I'll read it to you verbatim. Where is it?
Because the moment I saw it, I had a suspicion.
I said, edit this to add an Italian New Yorker from Brooklyn into it.
Yep.
But I was looking, for ours, it was the Texas Hammer, the tough, smart lawyer, No, so here I'll end on this because this is rather entertaining, and we're going to back up a little bit to the purchase of the property. Talked to enough people. I'm hitting the mic there. I've talked to enough people now about the process, and basically the consensus is that the smart way to do it, and you told me this, and Pace told me this, and several others, is to buy the property under a different LLC than the company.
Correct.
And lease the buildings and to the business as well as the other businesses that are there. Well, and I agreed with that. I just wanted confirmation, and I think that's a good move. So
insulate yourself.
Yes. So I've decided that I need a name for it because I really don't want Watson attached to the LLC because I don't want the guy renting from me down the hall coming and knocking on my door to tell me the toilet stinks. I'd rather them reach out to whoever's I'm going to hire to do management. And so I said, I want a name that works well for this. But I don't want it coming back to me. And so I've basically put it into ChatGPT to give me names of, synonymous with stone building or monuments and things like that. That kind of ties to my heritage and things like that. And so I think I have set on, and I can't pronounce it. I'm going to butcher it, but it doesn't matter. I got to be able to write it. Lithotomos. 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 Which in Greek is stonecutter.
That's cool.
So when I sent that name, so it'd be Litho Thomas Holdings LLC.
Mm-hmm.
When I sent that name option over to Emily today to get her thoughts, she goes, "Are you doing that to piss off John Scott?"
I figured you were just going to call it like BNS Property Management or something like that. You said you wanted it to have a tie, like a little wink and a nod to the monument industry.
Maybe Bands Holding.
Still love you, Jeremiah. Still love you.
Yep. So, yeah, that's what I know. It's we've got big weekend around here this weekend. Homecoming weekend for James. He's going to the homecoming game tonight, which I'm fixing to leave from here. Go take my wife to get coffee, take him to the football game, and head back to the house. And then he's going to the homecoming dance tomorrow. But not before I've raised him correct. On his own accord, he said he still wants to go to the A&M Auburn game tomorrow.
There you go.
So we are going to the game, and he's getting out of there in time to make it home to change and go to the dance.
Awesome.
So that's what we've got going.
Yeah, we got a baseball tournament in Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Ooh.
That's where I'll be Saturday and Sunday.
I mean, you're going to be on native land, it sounds like.
I'm going to be on the res.
Well, good luck to you.
Oh, yeah. Just whenever I get home full in my garage, just got to pull those arrows out of the tailgate.
On that note, y'all have a good one. I hope we taught y'all something. We probably didn't. So, but, good luck to you.
Yeah. Somebody will get something from it.
Probably not.
Something. I mean, if people aren't tuning in to get relevant and hard hitting issues, and like, what are we doing this for?
You're starting to sound like CNN, man.
I'd say we're fair and balanced. On that one, we're out.